Butter pecan, sulfur skin man, beautiful tan against the Monaco beach sand. Plage du Lovato, salmon cargo, go yard bags and excess cargo. She blew Virginia slim smoke out of nostrils. Her essence turned men into apostles. He followed her gospel. Even if Golgotha was his final step, his body turned to fossil. She wore minimal mascara, Charles James Jacques Foff dress wearer. She kept a gold brooch on top of her dresser. All natural, no lead pressers. Every curve is the subject of a love letter. This particular day, Saturn wrapped Pluto in a sweater. The Cold War's brewing, but that don't stop the dry scotch consuming. A midnight crooning, cause one kiss from her is so soothing. Monaco, visions. He had thoughts of white picket fences, 57 Chevy with the well-eyed lenses, 2 or 3 kids a pinching all the gold fringes. But his fantasy would soon prove to be fictitious. His dream didn't match her wishes. For every settled thought he had, her mind was on the next adventures. Milan, Aspen, Madrid itches, and they must be scratched. Any plans of settling down, tossed in ditches. Monaco, yeah. Visions. For him, what seems to be a night of romance and imaginary pictures of a future's glance is an illusion that will rock the ground where he stands. Love is fleeting, oven seating, don't give chefs a chance. If the ingredients ain't first married in a pan, humans fail by dreaming dreams without a solid plan. It leaves their feet sinking deep on the quickness sand. Quick with hands, slow with mind equals simpleton. Time is painful and disdainful, but it's medicine. I hope it cure the ills of man, cause if not, my friend, the DNA is imbued with tornado winds that spirals out of control till a new path is chosen. Slow learners get burned and frozen. Monaco, yeah. Visions. Yo, listen, let me talk to the people for a minute. The basic theme of this song is to keep the solid ground under your feet. Cause everything in the glitter ain't 24K. Now take that how you will. You see, the subject of our story here learns this the hard way, for sure, so that maybe you don't have to. This has been Monaco Visions. Yes, sir. And on behalf of Dap Dunlap, I am the Word. And we are Think Music. Oro Templo. I had a dream that I was laser focused like a blue beam, piercing minds to show infinite things, like the inside of the inside where the bird sprouts his wings and flights force his form inside perfect design storms. Man is not afraid to think outside established norms. If conforming got you charmed, and with you I've got qualms. We are not destined to exist as slaves, and we are fed wisdom through a cord from mama's nave. Severity, my mother birthed me, but first carried me mercifully. The water is inherently mine. Maritime or war, this ship will survive. Calm seas or storm weather, still I glide. Waves take you up and down. Emotion roller coasters take charge, calm them now. You're the captain of your soul. How can you be moved when you're working your plow? There is evil, and then there's perfection. See, Freeman L. revealed this in a lesson. That's the great pyramid of Egypt. You only fell cause you knew that you would be up. Unfinished souls come back to earth for a re-up. Not to worship paper and search for the fleece up. Ease up on the physical. Limited eyesight and think critical. While automatons slowly become digital. Mass actors are underneath are pitiful. Facades are awful hard to maintain with X-ray vision. See the inner parts. The word. Peace, peace. Oh, coming in hot. Welcome to Friday evening chit chat. We are live, 720 Astrology YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me try to get my mic. My mic's a little hot. Peace, peace, everybody. Peace, that crazy. Peace, ruled by Venus. Peace, Natalia. Peace, Golden Timeline. That was me trying to hold myself on key. Golden Timeline. So you gotta give me some grace, give me some mercy. Let's see. Let me peace, J. Smith. I'm trying to get my thank you, Golden. Let me get myself together here. Why am I trying to get me off the screen so I can get my camera rolling? And there we go. Yeah, there we go. I'm rocking some of my new attire. I speak sign language. This is some of that new. Can't really see it, but that's just a little preview. Something we got coming. But I hope everybody had a good week. And this very eruptive week that we've had, and this climactic end to the fiscal year that we are coming to. Peace, divine rights. Thank you. So I just wanted to tap in with a little conversation about self-esteem, and at the risk of sounding cliche, which I'm going to try to keep the conversation elevated so that I don't just sound like some after-school special. I want to take something that, of course, would at first glance is just rudimentary, basic stuff. But I want to show that maybe it's not as basic as we think. You know, we've been hearing of this concept, self-esteem, since we were children. You know, self-esteem, gotta love yourself and all that. But it's kind of like when you started driving, you know, you could understand the rules in theory, but how to actually get out there and execute it. And sometimes that whole concept of self-esteem is not easily executed. And so I want to take a backdoor approach to dealing with this. And this is not, of course, is not going to be an exhaustive conversation. It is not an attempt to be fix a flat, end all, be all. This is the answer you've been looking for. No, it's just a perspective, just to add on to your own wisdom. And I like to, uh, of course, I like to delve into what words mean to help uh, in the gleaning process when it comes to helping you peel back this onion and get a deeper perspective and viewpoint of what we dealing with. But I'll start off with this, something to ponder. Can we all just say, I'm glad to be me? And this is just a rhetorical question. Uh, Peace, God, science. You know, are we able to just make that statement and just say, hey, you know what? I'm glad to be me. In spite of whatever, I'm glad to be me. And I want and I'm bringing this up because if by chance someone out here, whether you're live now or you watch this on the recorded version, if you have genuine difficulty in making that statement, like anybody can say that, but if you have difficulty in making that statement and really feeling it down to your core, there is no judgment of you. Okay. Because if you are peace poetic, if that's how you feel and you are honest about it, then that's the first step to actually developing self-esteem, is to be honest and say, you know what? I don't I don't know if I can say that I'm glad to be me. And if you can be honest in that, then you put yourself a lot further ahead than a lot of people who pretend to have self-esteem, but maybe they really don't, you know. Um Now I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take another approach to this, and this gonna seem very low vibrational, or it may, but we're gonna utilize this approach to take a backdoor method to developing and cultivating self-esteem. And I wrote a couple of trigger notes down earlier today, just so I wouldn't forget. If there's a struggle with saying, I'm glad to be me, in spite of, I mean, I'm glad to be me. If there's a struggle, is there someone that you may look at and say, dang, I would want to be like that? I know it might sound juvenile, my approach, but sometimes we need to just take this type of approach to remove all the stigmatism of, all the stuff we hear, and this all the stuff, the new age stuff, and keep your vibes high, and and uh love yourself authentically. Well, what if you're not there yet? What if you've heard all of this, but at the end of the day, you still don't feel it? Okay. Well, let's try to identify what you can feel. You see what I'm saying? Is sometimes it's cute to keep going through all of the what you should feel, but then you like, at the end of the day, I don't feel it. So what if we reverse it? And even if we got to go through something negative that we got to work through, can we identify some type of authentic feeling? Okay. So if your authentic feeling is deep down, I see other people or states of existence that I like, man, I wish I could be that. Okay. then we need to go and ask this question. Why do you want to be them or that, whatever that thing is? Why do you want to be it? What do they represent to you? So let's go through, let's keep walking back through so we started off saying, can you authentically say I'm glad to be me? If you can't, then can you identify someone who you would want to be like? If you can, why? Would you want to be like them? What does that person or that state represent that you want to emulate? Here's another question. Does anyone make you feel envious or jealous? That's another thing that we like to chuck to the back in the whole consciousness world, because everybody is so awakened that, of course, there's no jealousy. And of course, there's no envy. And what you'll find is that I don't care what space you move in, those things exist. Okay. So let's remove the stigmatism around envy and jealousy, because they can also be fruitful. Those emotions that no one wants to associate themselves with, when we are doing a reconnaissance mission to recover your soul, those emotions are priceless because they will help you identify something. Nobody wants to admit when they feel jealous or envious, but it is given, all these things are leading you, if we utilize them correctly, they're leading you to something deeper. Okay. And what we're doing is, if a person, if we feel an inclination towards jealousy or envy around a person, then that opens the door to ask why. Because we all know that jealousy and envy are very close cousins to admiration. See, what we've done here is we've identified a family. So if I can identify someone I admire greatly to the point that, man, I would want to be like that, you know? Or if we can identify someone who we just, we feel this disdain, like I wish I had what they had, like, and now I'm starting to feel like I don't like them. Though it's very, very close cousin, first cousin to admiration. And both of those states of those emotional states provide an opportunity to ask questions. What is it about this person I admire? Why is it I'm feeling jealous about this person? And what I'm saying is, these questions can be a backdoor way to developing self-esteem. How, Jamal? Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back and develop peace, Sage. We're going to go back and look at the word self-esteem itself. And I don't know if I can write on here. Let me see. Do they have this little board? Do they have a board where I can write? No, they don't. Okay, that's all right. We'll just talk it out. So I consulted a couple of my sources here. Etymology. So when you take that word esteem, so self is self-explanatory. That's dealing with me. The word esteem comes from the same family as estimation. Okay. So when we talk about esteem, we are establishing the value, and it usually is based around using metal to denote value. So the word esteem, estimation, arguably is talking about currency, because real money Like we know in the world of currency, real money is silver and gold. What we are trading is fiat. It's based on good faith or bad faith, whatever. Either way, it's we trust that it has the value that it says it has. But real currency is gold and silver. The word esteem, let me just so we're going to go to one source. It says esteem. Where are we at? Latin estimare, to fix the price or the value of currency. To calculate it, the Latin derivation from aes, brass, hence money. Okay, so here we see peace, Tiger. So here we see a correlation between that word and currency. We go to another source and we go back and it says metal, as in ore, AES. It comes back to that Latin, AES. Remember that. Remember that. So we're talking about esteem is talking about the value of something. Okay. Self-esteem has a lot to do with the second house in the natural zodiac, because that is the second house period in your chart. But in the natural zodiac, the second house is associated with the sign of Taurus, which is I have. Okay. And Taurus is about value, ruled by Venus. We also learned that second house is resources, currency, but at a deeper level, it's about self-worth. Aries emerges and says, I am. I have a nomenclature. It is Jamal. First name Henry, middle name Jamal, Robinson the second. Okay. That's who I am. Nomenclature. But the second house says, now that I know who I am relative to everyone else, I have established that I have this identity. Now, what's my worth based on the identity that I am working with? That's Taurus. What do I have? So we see a direct line between how the word is used with currency and talking about value as an overarching concept. Now, when we were tracing this word, we kept finding the Latin derivative AES. Now, I'm going to show you a way. This is a real-time application of my bundle that I offer. And I'm going to show you one of the handouts, and I hope this will work. Let's see. Share screen. On a good computer. Let's see if I can move. Let me see if I can move it over here. And then if I share this screen, if this will work. Stand by. Let's go. We're going to share screen. Window. Okay. Bam. Okay. Y'all should see it now. Now, I don't know how well it's showing up on your end as far as how big this. Let's see if I can make this bigger. That's probably about as big as it's going to get for me. Either way, when you watch it in the replay, hopefully you can screenshot it or something or you can just come and get you one of these bundles and get it for yourself. But you'll notice my cursor up here. Can y'all see that?
You notice this the title of this one is An Esoteric Exploration of Fire. So this bundle has 5 handouts, learning handouts in it. It's got my book in it. It's got the booklet, which is 2020 in the World to Come. It's got the guide to reading your birth chart. But if you come down here, you see a close relationship between fire and sin. And I'm breaking down that word sin and what it really means. And you notice here, I say one of the Hebrew words for fire is es, as in ish. So the Hebrew ish, which is AESH, is very similar to the Latin derivative AES, which is talking about, hey, Terry Peace, which is very similar to the Latin derivative, which we found AES, which is talking about currency. So, guess what we're doing here? Conceptual blending. We just have found the correlation between, through the Hebrew, fire, tracing it and connecting it to the Latin value. And then when we look at the root of the word esteem, S, or the prefix, I should say, because steam would be but S, it is talking about fire. Whenever we see S, it says here, the above coincides with the word sin, also originating from the root S, to be. Thus, sin, Christ, and fire are all the same. So, in other words, the word, the prefix S, as in essential. When we see a S, it means life, to be. And for there to be life, there must be a fire. Okay. So you see all these different representations of fire here in this handout. So when you are discovering your own fire, you are actually discovering your self-esteem. Because before we have the house of worth, Taurus, what emerges first that gets it all kicked off? Aries, which is fire. So, what Taurus is really saying is, I have fire. I got fire. I got self esteem. I have self worth. Okay. Now, when that Aries energy initiates, and I'm using this analogy that I've done a million times, but it's worth mentioning a million times. Aries, I have a seed. Taurus, I have a place to put that seed. Okay. Gemini, I need oxygen to be able to circulate so that means I need to aerate to allow oxygen to flow. Cancer, I now have the soil primed and ready to start growing the seed. Leo, I now have a ripened piece of fruit. Leo takes the work of Taurus, the first fixed sign, and it takes it to the next level, which is now I have cooked. The seed has cooked. For something to ripen, it means it has cooked. And it means now it has developed into a piece of fruit. And that fruit is ready to be harvested and eaten. Now, if I was talking to my wife earlier today and I was contemplating, is it fair if you're born into a situation where your self-esteem was naturally cultivated. We were contemplating that. And uh because some people, everybody gets dealt a set of cards. You know what I'm saying? That's the fate side of the wheel. That's the wheel of fate. But then it's how you play them, right? That's where your will, WILL, comes in. And we came to the conclusion that I was fortunate to be born into a situation where my father, although he had his flaws like every other human, one thing is priceless, is the institution of self-love was drilled into us. And what he did was he created a mythology around our last name by just simply saying, boy, what's your last name? If your confidence was a little shaken, boy, what's your last name, boy? Robinson. All right. You're Robinson, you know? So as a child, you know, him creating this mythology, I grew up thinking that merely because my name is Robinson, there's something great about me, you know? Now, here's how we arrived at the conclusion that there ain't no really such thing as fair or not fair, because I was ostracized at certain times in my life. You know, I was made to feel like the outcast. I was made to feel like I didn't fit in. So I needed and had to rely on that fortification of self-esteem in order to exist in the environment that I was in order to exist right now, to embrace not fitting into somebody else's structure, you know? Um, but it then led me to think, so, and this is how I even determined to have this conversation. What if you did not have that though? What if you did not have someone who fortified that in you? And the reason I'm doing this is because, like, when I was a personal trainer, I think what made me so great at it is because I knew what it was like to be fat and to actually work myself into shape. Like, how can I tell you how to get in shape when you never even know what it feels like to have to fight against your own genes or fight against the size of the fat cells you were born with, and you got to corral them, you know? So in order for me to teach people about self-esteem, I had to put my mind into how I was as a trainer. Like, I gotta break this thing down to a formula, because it's not enough to just tell people you gotta love yourself and you gotta, because some people cannot embrace that. Some people have been so beat down by their own families, by their own mate in some relationship. And some people have continuously attracted the same type of mate because they have not been able to find that authentic self-love. How can I talk to them? So I had to go and now break and reverse engineer it. And that's why I started off with what I did. If you didn't have that foundation, you got to work with the emotion that you can feel right now. And if that emotion is, I just feel like I ain't shit. Well, if you feel like you ain't shit, well, tell me, what is the shit? See, you can find your way out of any hole if you know how to dig. You can find your way out of any hole if you know how to dig. which that seemed like a oxymoronic, but no. You understand what I'm saying? It is, I feel like I'm nothing. Well, what do you use your, this is where we have to become children. You have to use your imagination. Well, if you can identify that you feel like nothing, well, tell me with your imagination, sit and imagine what something would feel like. And don't tell me you can't do it. Use your active imagination. This is why in the scriptures say you must come as a child. And when you were a child, your imagination could go take you anywhere. So you got to go back and use your imagine. Well, what does it feel like? What does love feel like? If I can recognize that I don't love myself, and I can see how it has played out in my life, how it plays out in these different aspects of my life, then use my imagination and imagine, how do these things operate if I do love myself? If I feel jealous or envious of this person, what is it about them that brings that emotion out? And then it could be the most simple thing, it can be that uh she's got uh her figure or whatever, or this dude gets all the women, whatever. But then okay, then you got to go the next step. So if he gets all the women, what does that mean? Oh, well, he gets attention. Ah, now we're getting closer to an archetype. Attention. Then we start realizing where I did not get attention. Oh, this woman, she looks like this, so she gets attention. Then I can start looking at my chart. I can start analyzing my life. I can start really looking at my moon. I can start looking at my 12th house. And then all we're doing is we walk backwards to get to the destination. It ain't always going to happen by going just, going straight ahead and get there. But I do believe that everyone can establish and experience greater self-esteem. It's just about how you're approaching it. Being very honest with ourselves and backtracking to get to this promised land. I got something in my 2020 thing I want to read too. Bear with me. Because then we got to understand, especially when it comes to our upbringing, how people contributed to wounding us, and then how we then can prevent that happening with our children. So this is part of the bundle. This is an old copy, but it's got a new cover on it now. But I got a section in here called the parents. Okay. And it's breaking down, what are we really doing as parents? You know, let's see. I'm gonna read a little just this introduction. In the organized religion of Christianity, Jesus Christ as the Son of God is looked upon in a deific manner. The followers of the religion encourage non-believers and so-called lost sheep to accept the Christ figure as their Lord and Savior. In accordance with such scriptures as Matthew 6 and 33, Luke 17 and 21, initially instructing the reader to seek the kingdom of God and then revealing that the kingdom of God is within. Okay, I got to pause right there. Because even in this most maligned book, it gives us major gems right here. Because Matthew 6 and 33 says, seek ye first the kingdom. And then Luke says, the kingdom is within. That's actually a statement of self-esteem. And no Sunday morning preacher is going to emphasize these two scriptures back to back. Because what it really does is going to undermine the game that they're running. Because really, this is giving you major key right here. Major game. It's telling you that basically the Christ that you're worshiping and saying he came and died for my, it's really telling you, no, dumb, it's you. That the book is really about you. It's really saying that that which you seek is within you. That's a statement about self-esteem, but I digress. It becomes obvious that the following of Christ is not meant to be an outwardly directed activity. Instead, it requires a turn inward. Christ is also referred to as the Messiah, a term that means anointed. In ancient Egypt, the same Christ originated as the Christ, which referenced the spiritual state and attainment. A remnant of this idea is preserved in the Hebrew word Mashiach, anointed, and the Greek Christos, which means anointed. Why do both words, which reference Christ, align with the concept of anointing, which is something that is done with oil? It turns out that when one attains a certain level of enlightenment, there is an internal oil that flows called colostrum. This requires an entirely separate discussion to flesh out. At the moment, though, what is most important is the association of this state with Christ, or that Christians, or what Christians call the return of Christ or the revelation. So I'm going to read this paragraph. If Christ is the realization of a state that can be achieved by all humans who do the work to attain it, then what purpose do the parents play in the biblical accounts of the Christ life? To me, it means that humans, when on the path of realizing their internal Christ, are taking on the metaphysical role of being parents. So even if you don't have children, if you're on the quest of developing your flame, your internal flame, which is your self-esteem, it is an act of parenting. So you can be 80 years old, all your children are grown and you got grandchildren, but if you're still working on yourself, you're still parenting, because you're parenting your own soul. Your soul is the baby Jesus in the manger. Okay. Although Christ is an essence or flame, although Christ as an essence or flame is timeless, without beginning or end, in order for it to be realized, there must first be involvement. But in what? In life/humanity itself. How so, you may ask? The answer is contained within the symbolism of the cross itself, which doesn't originate with the Christian religion. So I go on in that. But then I start breaking down the etymology of the word parent. And I said there are a few ways we can approach the word parent, all of them being valid. For starters, notice that from this perspective, and then I look at how it's pair and rent. The prefix pair means first, while rent means to tear apart. That's what rent does to us every first of the month, tear our wallet up. Thus, the parent in relation to the child is the first to be torn apart from the all, because you're talking about shards of the divine. So the parent goes first. From another perspective, the prefix par references both fruit, as in a pear, and fire, as in a pyre, as in pyramid, pyramid. PYR means fire, as they both share the consonant root of PR. Hope y'all catching that. I wish I was on Zoom so I could. So when you take PEAR and you break it down to the consonants, it's just a P and an R. So the pear, as in the fruit, coincides with the peer or pyre, as in pyramid, which is fire, as they both share the consonant root of PR. Combining either root with rent, we are left with a reference to the first fruit or first spark. If you look at an image of a pear and a flame, they even share resemblance as shown below. And you can see this little illustration. Look at this flame and look at the pear. It's divine symbolism hidden in nature. So so I'm not going to read all this because it goes on and on, but it's definitely a worthwhile. Get you this bundle. Get the bundle and go through it slowly and sit with yourself. Because as I do these conversations, I'll keep referring to them and I'll give you triggers on how to actually use it. But parents, when your child chooses you, you've been chosen to participate in the formation of deity. When you become the parent of another soul, you have an opportunity to actually participate, not in even just being a god, but to actually be in the position of being the potter, making a god. And if you think about how pottery is formed, you're talking about using earthen material and putting it in fire to form it into a fixed vessel. So you, as a parent, you have an opportunity to shape this vessel. And that will have a lot to do with this child's self-esteem. So parenting gives us a chance to set things right if we do it right. But first, we have to go back again and address our own self-esteem or lack thereof and be honest with the approach to establishing it. And just somebody telling you that you got to love yourself, to reiterate, does not work if inherently you don't feel it, you know? And so again, we go through the back door by identifying the emotions that you can't feel. I mean, the emotions that you can feel. And then when you go to your chart, what you can do is your second house. What's the condition of the second house? Where is the ruler of your second house? How is it being aspected? What's going on in your fifth house? Where is the ruler of your fifth house? And how is it being aspected? What is your sun sign? Because the sun is the direct representation of your self-esteem because it is showing it to the world. See, the second house, Taurus, is you possessing it. By the time we get to Leo, we are showing it because Leo gives love. It's joy, it's pleasure. So it is when you're giving pleasure, you are sending something out. Joy exudes, sunlight shines. That's Leo. So, what is your sun sign? And are you how well do you feel you are able to fulfill the promise of your sun sign? All the signs, each sign is a promise. And we know promises are not guarantees. It's a promise. Hey, that if certain things balance out a certain way, then okay, this promise can be realized. They're promises, they're not guarantees. So what's the promise of the sun, where it was relative to the time and the date you were born? How is your sun being aspected? How is your sun being aspected? Is your sun in a hard aspect to Pluto? Is it in a hard conversation with Neptune, which makes it hard for you to actually see what's shining from you? See, because Neptune dilutes things. It dilutes, especially sunlight. So I got all this bright light, and it's going into this very dense, uh, chaotic, voluminous water, which is Neptune. That's what it represents, you know. And so that light can get fractalized because it starts to kind of lose its focus because all that murkiness of Neptune. Pluto, where the light has been challenged by darkness, it's direct nemesis. Saturn, where the light is being challenged, the warmth of the sun is being challenged by the frigid nature of Saturn, cold. Uranus, hard aspects with the sun, can bring on anxiety to where things never feel stable. So going through your chart, you can see some of the challenges that you have inherited, and then they're telling you where you're supposed to mount up your forces and go courageously and face them. And sometimes the lack of self-esteem may be that you feel like the heavens, the cosmos, the divine itself is actually against you. And when see, this is what the pressure of life can do. And those same planets that I've named, they can play an integral role in providing that pressure that make you feel like the whole cosmos is against you. When in reality, what they do, because they are outside of the gate of the gods. Saturn sits at the Tropic of Capricorn, or it rules that gate, which is the gate of the gods. And they sit outside. They represent metaphorically the gods because they're beyond that gate. So they're holding you to a soul contract. But here in our finite existence in this three-dimensional realm, when we feel the pressure, it seems like there's no hope. Okay. But what you got to realize is the same thing that's applying the pressure is actually helping you to develop what you feel like you ain't got. Let me tell you something. Pluto will build your self-esteem if you let it. Because it'll tear away all of the bullshit that you thought was real so that you can actually get down to the real. Uranus will help you find your self-esteem because it'll blow shit up all around you. It'll cause eruptions to help eject you, project you out of stagnation onto a new timeline. Neptune will fuse you and will cause utter confusion to force you to refocus your light. It'll have you, looking at all types of stuff. But what you're doing through that period of confusion where you don't know what's real, you actually picking up all types of extra information because you're fusing with so much. And then your challenge is then, okay, now I'm gonna take all this fusing and I'm gonna bring this shit back down. But the process of going through that Saturn, the rigidity of Saturn, making you feel restricted, confined, oh, it can do wonders for your self-esteem. Saturn's one of the best because it presents struggle. My grandmother was a Capricorn, 91 years she lived, and she said it's good for people to struggle. And my mom used to get so mad about that. But she's like, oh, I understand now. People need to struggle. You know something? They've coined these new phrases for children called danger play. Like children need dangerous play or controlled risk play. Meaning they're saying part of the reason children getting so soft is because we used to ride around the street. We lived on a circle. We would haul ass around the street and wreck the bike and flip over the handlebars. We didn't know what it was to wear no helmet. I remember one time I hit the curb and I flipped over them handlebars. I thought I was dead. But you get up and we always had some everybody thought they could fix a bike. Oh yeah, come on, man, it's the chain. All we gotta do is fix and you try to fix your bike and you get back on. Cut up, bruised up. We would go through the we would find out what we used to call them, the shortcut. And you go through the shortcut, they be like, watch out for the sticker brow bush. And you go down by the cemetery to the little shortcut and you get cut up by the sticker brow bush when you forget. And it's just danger. A healthy degree of danger and struggle is necessary for children to grow because it helps them build confidence by overcoming. For us, as our souls being the little children that we're parenting, we must learn to be alchemists and that to take the struggle and use it as food, because there are entities who feed on our struggles, on who feed on our inability to metabolize our struggle. Let me say this again. I gotta get some water on that. I got the dry mouth. It is imperative that we learn how to turn our struggles into sustenance, because there are entities who feed on pain and suffering. So they institutionally set up situations to promote pain and suffering and the stagnation of soul development. And so we have to learn how to take the messed up hands we're dealt and to transmute that energy. Otherwise, there's somebody that is willing and ready to feed on the misery, and then to they need to make sure that we stay in that muck and mire, because it just becomes a buffet for them. And this even comes down to a physiological thing. R- Taking active steps to rid our bodies of parasites. Because just like we have entities out here who function as parasites, we literally have parasites that get inside of us, and those communicate with each other. Because if they can create enough situations out here that promote stress, anxiety, corruption, breakdowns in communication, the encroachment upon innocence, there's nothing more precious than the innocence of a child. And if you can break that, that becomes, oh, that's a beautiful meal. If they can get that. And so them creating that out here then helps invigorate the parasite in here. And then they create certain foods and drugs and substances that we can take in that feeds the parasite that's in here. And then now we got a cycle of just destruction. So we got to think holistically too about self-esteem. The way you eat will impact your self-esteem. The lack of mobility of your body, which then means that your blood remains stagnant, and your blood is the highway for the fire. The fire needs to move. The chi needs to move. The energy needs to move. That impacts self-esteem. Let me see. What else did I know I'm forgetting something something else I wanted to, but I'm trying to think. Passion. Passion. Um, Got to give a shout out to Gemini Brown because he just did a thing on the North Node, and I have a story I got to tell about the North Node for me, and it's I might have told it to the 720 Sacred Teaching Group about this woman who reached out to me, but I'm going to do a video, and I got to honor this woman, this 84-year-old woman who reached out to me, who knew that her time was quickly coming to an end on this planet. And this woman reached out to me last summer, the summer of 2023, and I got to do a video and explain how she lined up with my North Node. But for now, where is destiny calling? And I look at the North Node in a multifaceted. It can, in one regard, it can be where your attention is being directed, where destiny is pulling you, where it's unfamiliar water. But sometimes the North Node too is just to get your attention to study that area. And it may not necessarily be this is what you're supposed to be doing and go in this direction. It can be for you to explore the philosophy you have about that aspect of your life. You might have the North Node in Cancer, but you're already a very much a family oriented, and you just think your children are the world. You all into being a mother, but you're North Node in Cancer. So it might not be that you need to focus on being maybe you need to analyze how you approach family with your North Node in Cancer. Maybe you need to analyze the bloodline you come from, North Node in Cancer. Maybe you need to pay more attention to breaking generational curses. Maybe you need to analyze your relationship with your mother. Maybe you need to focus more on your emotional state, North Node in Cancer. Your North Node, pay attention to that, because you being more diligent about where it's at, sign, house, so forth, aspects can also play a key role in cultivating your self-esteem, because they're called the nodes of fate for a reason, because they are aligning with what your soul came here into Sheol, where we get the word hell, Sheol, which is also school. So what did you come into hell for, which is school? Or cell, jail cell, to be what did you come here to be rehabilitated around? And sometimes because we are not moving in with where our soul has already determined that it wants to evolve towards, that can further perpetuate a feeling of lack of self-esteem. Basic animal emotions too can hinder our self-esteem. Fear. Um, Being controlled by fear can be a direct hindrance to developing greater self-esteem, because you may need the courage to do something and by having the courage to do this thing, and then you see it through. That's another way to go through the back door means to developing self-esteem. See, sometimes you go and do stuff because, oh, I know I'm great. Da 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 da. I know I'm great, so I'm gonna do this. Well, sometimes you got to go and do this to help you realize that you're great. You got to go and remember we talked about the food the other day. Sometimes you got to go and walk off the cliff, head up in the air, just so you can realize that you could fly. Golden said Chiron, definitely Chiron as well, because you want to analyze. Chiron gives us a chance to, it's almost like where we started when we were asking these questions about if I feel jealous, or these are um these are approaches towards finding the wound. Finding the wound, and that wound has to be ferreted out. It's got to be dug down to get to um yeah, Shauna. Yo, I ain't gonna talk about your chart. I know exactly. Yeah, your sun conjoins your North Node. Yeah, that's a big theme. I'm recording yours in the morning or in the AM, because we ain't trying to do no morning. We're gonna do it I'm gonna do it in the AM. That's the theme. Yeah. But yeah, that's right. First house in Taurus, personal value. Personal value. But yeah, the Chiron is definitely, because it is getting us acquainted when we get acquainted with our wounds, we also find the key to healing. And if you think, especially as men, um, we have to put on such a hard exterior. Sometimes it's hard to admit where we feel vulnerable and weak, you know? And that delving into where the wound is really at, you know, uh is it helps open the door to not only healing, but to actually having authentic self-love. So let's see what we got. We said second house, fifth house. We said the sun aspects. We said North Node. We said Chiron. Uh, your moon. Your moon. What's your natural emotional proclivity? How do you process the world as it's coming at you? Your moon. Does your moon have a relationship with the 12th house? Does it have a relationship with the 12th house ruler? As a matter of fact, what's going on in your 12th house? What did you inherit from your folk? You know, you ain't even aware you got this. What was going on in the environment while you were gestating? You can get clues into that through the 12th house. And you can pick up, oh man, I got this by default. You know, so the moon, 12th house, 8th house, where stuff happened to me and it got locked into a program in my subconscious mind. Difference between the 8th and the 12th is that the 12th can be stuff we can't even see because we did not have an ego presence or an identity when this wound was initiated. So we refer to it as collective unconscious. The 8th house would be a wound more so that we incurred after we actually had a sense of identity. And those things where we were injured can then be stored as like emotional scar tissue, and then it becomes part of a program in the subconscious mind. So this is the value of learning to understand your own chart. And uh oh yeah, I know all about it. Golden. Um Divine has Pisces moon in the 8th. So that is a very, very super emotional placement. Um I don't shoot, they're about on par. Pisces and Pisces moon in the 8th, Cancer moon in the 8th. Um, that Pisces moon in the 8th, what's the outcome of your romantic encounters? You know, um, the karma, Sag in the 8th, you know, how has trauma impacted your truth, you know, your philosophy? Um, but yeah, it's I believe that everyone not only can but is evolving. And what we have to realize is that here on this planet, it's like being at the Greyhound station. at a major hub. You know, some people are gonna go to from here to Arkansas, some gonna go to LA, some gonna go to Phoenix. So you got people at different stages of their journey here on this planet. And some people are much earlier in their journey. Some people may be a little further along, but we're all interacting, you know. And so everybody's going somewhere. You come here to this is a place of transit. This is a transit station. Everybody going somewhere, you know. Um, but Tiger Lily said, "Oh, Taurus moon in the eighth. Mm, how my Taurus moon? So you got your exalted moon in Taurus. But it is anytime the moon's in the eighth house, the moon is accidentally debilitated because the eighth house is naturally Scorpio's territory. I think eighth house moon placements um can have a degree of difficulty um no matter the sign. Now that difficulty is going to intensify relative to but that house placement, I think there's an intensity. There's a definite intensity at the emotional level when the moon is in the eighth house. Um, but this is gonna wrap it up. I um I always get off here and I remember something else, but it leaves space for said it's opposite your Venus oh boy, that's intense. Venus conjunct Pluto in my second. No, I ain't changed it yet. Let me see here. Let me see. So let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, let me tell y'all about this. Let me see if I can find this. My I want to share this if I can get to it real quick. Dun, dun, dun. Where is this at? Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah. Okay, I want to show y'all something. Let's see. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Share. Where is it at? There we go. So, unlock stellar insights, powerful 720 astrology webinars to guide you. So, we got 36 days till the webinar. What about the next webinar? You are invited to join an in-depth, timely, soul-stimulated conversation. The title of this webinar is The Mystical Almond, the Seed of Chaos and Order. This is going to be on November 10th, 2024 at 3 p.m., roughly 2.5 hours. It's going to be on Zoom. It's $29.99, small investment to come and sit in on the webinar. If you are a member of 720 Sacred Teachings, you'll have free access. Membership has its privileges. So I wanted to make sure I'm going to be mentioning this leading up more and more, probably do a video about this. But I invite everyone to come and participate, and let's have us an old school a lecture. You know, the thing about I'm kind of old school. I like to write on the board, or at least write on the screen. I'm from the old school. Read it, write it, retain it. My favorite professors in the college, only two of them. I only had two professors who wrote on the board, on the chalkboard. I had a white guy, and when I had to go to TCC first before I could transfer to UTA to finish. And this guy, I used to go on the weekends and take a history class, get up early in the morning, but I loved his class because he would write on the board, and he would break it up in eras, and he was just an old school teacher. Loved his class. Then I had this Nigerian guy, Dr. Megwa, in one of my communication classes, and he was another deep guy. He would write, and I love, because you can learn. There's something about the writing on the board, and the tactile approach, and while you're talking, you're getting the audio, and then the visual, and it just enhances the learning experience. I hated professors who just got up there and read PowerPoints. I just think it's so lazy. It just there's no passion in it. So uh I really enjoy just going back to doing things kind of an old way. I got this board back here that's really become my children's artwork board, because I need me another camera person for when I'm doing stuff on there. I got a huge board in the garage. And I'll eventually, we're gonna pull that back out, and I'll be using that. But if you enjoy learning, come and attend this webinar. Get your seat in this webinar. If you need to talk about anything from all aspects of life, my coaching is can be of great value to your life journey. It is based on your chart. So then I would encourage you first, before you even consider coaching. And thank you, Shauna. Thank you for the super sticker. I would encourage you to get a reading first before you would pursue coaching, so that we have your birth chart delineation established, and we have a baseline to work from. And then from that, we set the coaching is based off of you, customized off of who you are. And I've made some more affordable options to where I'm now doing it via phone. So I have the live Zoom options, and I have the options where we can do it over the phone. Also, I've made my readings more approachable, so that if you're more cost sensitive, and you not in a position where you can do a live reading, I have pre-recorded options now for that. When you become a member of 720 Astrology Sacred Teachings, you get access to the secret discount page, where I give discounts on many of my services. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff going on. My bundles, get the bundle. I don't think I got one made up right now to show you. But yeah, you can go to my website too and click on 720 Sacred Teachings. And when you go there, you can get the bundle. And on that same page, you can sign up for our Sacred Teachings class that we have every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central. So with that said, I don't know. Last time I was on here, I think I did a little bit of I think we ended out with, I might have thrown on a couple of tracks. I already played a few before we started. Y'all want to ride out on something? Let me know in the chat. I ain't gonna beat you over the head if you don't want to hear nothing. But if you want to close out on a little bit of something, let me know. If not, it's 12:38. I can shut it down. I appreciate all of y'all in here. Y'all going in the comments. Let's see. Do I have anything in here? I got a few. Okay, right on, Divine. Okay, Natalia. Appreciate y'all. Give me some feedback. So let me see. Let's see. We'll do this one.
Hello out there in Radio Land. You're now tuned in to WPOT. That's Poetry Radio. Tonight, get your finger snaps ready, cause we got a show enough real treat for you. This brother calls himself The Word. Sit back and enjoy. Yeshua was born to a Bethula. That's a virgin from Bethlehem, a vessel of Tula. Gavor with the help of Gadula. Move through ash, the sound of fire. When it touch water and a new seed desire. To the path I was drafted for, this you can't get higher. To whom it may concern is possibly feeling the burn of the sun's scorching heat while waiting for it to turn. Just know the pain eventually become like the glow. Just keep working the land and what long ago was sold. But proper water and sunlight will soon grow. And when a wild weed show, you can tame it with a hoe. My hoe is holy, my Yule log and holly. My dog is a Doberman that will snatch a collie. Anubis leads souls through the wilderness safari to the promised land where they all shine like the Wally. Tree, oil. Everybody on the path, but every path ain't the same. There is one primal flame, but it go by many names. Solar man had game, so 72 he came. With the ring my father left me, I could never be profane. I found magnificence among the mundane. I entertain vast concepts and make complain. Some say the earth wobble like an ass that make it rain, while others angrily shout that it's a flat plane. Maybe even arguing the sign that you're insane, cause where the flat around it still gotta maintain. Hey, that's just common sense, but even thinking's past tense. So opinions get dense and trap men like a fence. Hence, therefore and forevermore, I vow to always let my game soar higher than the leading ball handler could ever score. From long distance I shoot, cause the form is pure. The word. From long distance I shoot, cause the form is pure. Tree, oil. Dap Dunlap. The word. Think music. The new movement.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Let's see. We're gonna get into our metaphor bag here. This is, which one should we do? We did one called Flying Spur. Bentley makes a a car called the Flying Spur. So a little background. I'm going to be talking like I'm describing the attributes of the car, but I'm really describing the attributes of, and this is, you know what? This is the perfect one for this conversation, because this is like an expression of self-confidence. Um, the tire said, I gotta highlight that. There you go. Feed my ego. Okay, yeah, we'll go a little bit. But this is a good one for the conversation because I'm making it like I'm talking about the car, but we're talking about just attributes of somebody who just got their shit together, So check it out.
This is opulence. This is opulence. Pure opulence. Pure opulence. The vision through the windshield, crystal clear, pristine, a long way from poison water running through the ravine. The structure of the vessel, sleek, letting him tell no lies. His woman rests her thighs on seats made for Northern European bull high. Cool breeze out, pine a little warm on the side. No grape upon from the kitchen. This turmeric is organic, the GMO missing. American walnut and cherry wood glisten. 6 liters, listen to the sound of that engine. Engineer precision when the words spitty lift them. Voice heard over banging Olufsen's system. The middle of the roof missing. Night lights glow, the glare Venus blinding. Pirellis grip the road. Here's a story never told. Watch the plot unfold. Crystal black skin with magnolia blood bowl. He played his part. He knew his number. Think music fed the people for like 20 summers. Cause the sun is the sun shining like sand sun. Or some have seen these unsung sages on the come up. Wings spread, the people fed from the word said. He medicate the sick when he's read or listen to. He dedicate to you. Exclusively official what is coming through. The word. When the garage open, the essence is revealed. Onlookers pass by, only see the grill. Part the top of hill, mix emotions what they feel. The appeal, undeniable. Some hate maniacal, the curse of being reliable and undefinable. With every bar rewindable and every beat reclinable. Like the luxury fleet that is high in quarter meat. Famine has been experienced, now a feast. It's how we eat something expensive on his feet. Cobblestone driveway, he don't feel a pump. Doors ease shut, not a sound, not a thump. Windows hermetically sealed, vehicle sex appeal. Lyrical Lasix peel, dripping gang how you feel. Every gadget engage, helps the driver engage. The listener's ear amazed. High atop the page, the king's name emblaze. The opposite of slaves, vision for days. The game, yes, when played well, a beautiful display. Like a Kobe beef fillet, the word age well, ayy. To the finer things, yes, and clean. Like an old man's with the finger to Solomon's ring. Or a soul to the song the goddess sing. She sings. Okay, let me find something. I just thought about something old, something I did alone, and this gonna be the last one. We're gonna play a little game. I want y'all, if I can even find this thing. I gotta see where it's at. Let me see where this what this song at. I might not be able to find it. Never mind. Let's see what else going. We'll do something real quick, then we'll get out of here. Oh yeah, I like this one.
Okay, stand by. Let me get this. Let me snatch it real quick. And I'm going to load this on what you call them. Let's see. Let me upload this. I kind of like this. I think you mothers may enjoy this one. And fathers too, you know.
El Flamenco. Birds with long legs. Ethereal eggs.
Hold on.
El Flamenco. Birds with long legs lay ethereal eggs. To engender or create depends on what is said. The past life is the nourishment the soul is fed. That's why the Pisces feet touch Aries head. He immersed the blood and tissue on hospital bed. Bright light shines brilliantly, the nurse said. 8 pounds, 10 ounces, the mother's meds. Slowly wears off in pain, she cries. The same time she smiles, stares in her son's eyes. They glow bright like halogen, a sunrise. He takes his first breath. He inhales himself. At the helm is the all who engendered herself. Birds with long legs lay ethereal eggs. Words as well placed can ignite fire in heads. And heart, the wind plays its part, never led. The child understands that by art it's fed. Birds with long legs lay ethereal eggs. Words as well placed can ignite fire in heads. And heart, the wind plays its part, never led. The child understands that by art it's fed. He's exceptional, emerged from womb circumcised. Room full of spectacles, the flower bloom before their eyes. Through the blinds you could see clear skies outside. As if sweet chariots had swung down to offer rise. His future's unknown, the path he'll decide. They had the word to cast the chart for where his strengths lie. And his weaknesses too. Who will light his fire and put air under his shoes. The word. Birds with long legs lay ethereal eggs. Words as well placed can ignite fire in heads. And heart, the wind plays its part, never led. The child understands that by art it's fed. Birds with long legs lay ethereal eggs. Words as well placed can ignite fire in heads. And heart, the wind plays its part, never led. The child understands that by art it's fed. Life is a beautiful journey.
All right, that's a little quickie. Let's see. Here go a little storytelling right here. This is a player, a gangster who finds himself getting played himself. Created this little story around this Caribbean island. Listen to the details.
Think music.
Try to paint a little picture.
The word. When the plane touched down, the seatbelt sign sounds. She extinguishes tobacco, sips the last shot of Crown. Tray table up and seat back straight. Swiftly she moves through the airport gate. The Golden Beach beckons for it, she can't be late. Outstretched she lie, he from a distance. Sees her, no blur, yes it's persistence. She finds flattering and not to mention his accounts are ballots, no digits missing. As he approaches, she grabs her sunglasses with mother of pearl inlays. She's high fashion. He has Tomas from St. Thomas. Bring over pina coladas, breeze from Bahamas. Blows, they stroll, sip platitudes, he extols. They go to Hotel Nicholas de Avado. He checks Movado. It's time to show and prove this dude is smooth. Average dame's drool, but she plays it cool. Maybe got it from her mother, original game school. $6 million man, she's bionic. She been his wheel, magical tonic. With this heart in hand, away she's running. He don't peep the phonics, she is cunning. On this Caribbean island, it's coming. To see men drain, they don't see it coming. Till it hit him like the tail in the Halley's Comet. He enters a room, mixed drinks he consumed. Unknowingly is in it, the devil's womb. She plays Sinatra, call up a German opera. His eyes heavier, it's more than vodka. Overcome, he falls asleep. It's like a wolf in sheep. He is food, she hungers, and she must eat. I can a hero, surviving no control. The dame blow Virginia Slim smoke out a nostril. You catch it later, the word foreshadow. Suddenly a knock on the door. It was Elvis of the herd screams from the fourth floor. He gains consciousness, evades through the window. Fire escape. Turns out he's got warrants in 3 states. Chevy Bear Air with 3 plates. 22, 4, 4, and 3, 8. He played high stakes, got caught slipping. Now he's back on the highway, Britain dipping. Caribbean island.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, that's a couple little things there. We've been cooking a little bit over the years, but yeah, we got a lot of music. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in and just letting me be me. You know, the different layers. Thank you, Natalia, for joining the webinar, securing your spot. I don't know if y'all want to be called out, but and thank you. Let's see, Sharaka, welcome to the family. Let's see, Cedric, thank you for getting the bundle. Gonna get that thing wrapped up for you and send out ASAP Rocky. So yeah, we got people supporting. I appreciate you all 1000%. Shauna, I got you tomorrow. Get your reading recorded and get that out to you. And I got some other folk that if you book, I got you. You and just a reminder, if you book if you get a pre-recorded reading, it says it on there. Ask that you allow for up to 10 business days for me to get that to you. And many times I'm gonna get it to you earlier than that. And Sage, you know what? That might be something coming. She said a song and chart recording bundle. That's a very Aquarian suggestion there. And I'm going to take that to heart. Okay. You know what? Okay, look. I'm going to let y'all go. I do want y'all to hear this though. I recorded something like 4 years ago, and I took the astrology. There you go, right there. Mood ring. Okay. And I'm gonna make this the last one. Yeah. Cause I'm talking about the different placements that was happening at the time. I recorded this in, was it 2021? Okay. And we're gonna wrap it up. It's ridiculous. I got, let's see here. Let's snatch this one. It's a little different, but listen to the lyrics. You might dig it. She said you can listen to your chart and vibe at the same time. No doubt. Okay. Let that sit.
Big music.
Listen to the lyrics.
Mood ring. When Father Time still was younger, child of Uranus, he cut his pop phallus off, it dripped, the sky was raining. The time known as Kronos, who is also known as Saturn, tried to kill his seed, what we have's a vicious pattern. But Rhea hit Zeus, put a rock in Saturn's belly, and prosperity was nurtured by the wet nurse's Betty. Hell the vendetta, hell must be better than to know your father wants to wear your hide like a sweater. Grandpop's Uranus, rebellious fight against time, and when conjunct Mars, he don't walk a straight line. Now Saturn and Jupiter together in Aquarius. Low magicians are active, their intentions are nefarious. It goes deeper than your horoscope. Saturn usurped Zeus, now call himself the Pope. The Inquisition never stopped, the devil still in scope. Forked tongue tell lies, foul breath can't be cured with scope. Forked tongue tell lies, foul breath can't be cured with scope. No. The sky's the limit, but 2020 left folk timid. Mask cover eyes to stop vision from being vivid. History will show it was the year that time froze. Uranus called for poetry, but Saturn still wrote in prose. Confinement calls consignment, everything's for sale. From the rooter to the tutor, nobody come and post bail. But just us shall prevail. Jupiter's expanding, Aquarius air swells. Aspect in Venusian, the lights, my God, these tales are better than your best picture story. I feel compelled to give the people game and ring the golden bell. The anointed look for shelter, but there's no room at the hotel. I hope these free balls illuminate like the sun and moon, we're traversing the North Gate. I wish you all wholeness, nothing less should you take. We've been limited, now it's freedom that we chase. We've been limited, now it's freedom that we chase. We've been limited, now it's freedom that we taste. The word.
And with that, I bid you all good evening. I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for showing your love, showing your support, sincerely. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Until then, and always know the stars and know yourself, and stay down till you get up. And when you get up, stay down. Peace.